Just in case people haven't heard yet, the Fraternacons has its own channel now. So if you want to see new episodes of the Fraternacons, you can follow the link in the description. There will be one new episode a week for the foreseeable future there, if not more. So if you enjoy watching me and my brothers say dumb stuff about things, then go check it out. There also should be a new video out sometime today. So the last time I covered the red figures with Cheetor, they did not impress me. The red Cheetor isn't the worst thing on the planet, but it's basically failing at everything it set out to do. And that video had a bunch of my subscribers express to me that they were scared to pick up the Prime Arcee in the red line, as they really did want some good representation of that character, but were worried that since the Cheetor was so not good, this may be as poor. I was already kicking myself for not picking this up at the same time as I did the Cheetor, and that coupled with people asking to hear if it was decent, along with the fact that it gives me a chance to talk about the design aesthetic of Prime, and this character in particular, I went out to pick her up specifically as to hopefully assuage people's fears about it. Unfortunately, I can't do that because this thing is fucking significantly fucking worse than the Cheetor. And yes, I am giving it away early, and yes, that did deserve 2 F-bombs. Once again, this thing is made out of a rubbery plastic like the Cheetor. Unlike the Cheetor, however, it was a very hot day when I bought it, and when I took it out of the car and opened it, the entire figure had the consistency of chewed gum. I'm not kidding when I say that every single part of her was flexible like the soft rubber accents she has on her back. I was able to bend this thing in ways that are unholy. Her legs also have a bad habit of popping off at the ball joint if you try to use them, and the whole thing is wobbly and built like crap. As for the look, this is where I finally get to say that I'm not a fan of the look of Prime. To be fair, I don't hate it at all. It's not an eyesore, it's not unfinished or unpolished, but it is also nothing. I feel nothing when I look at these designs. To me, it just sure is an object on my screen. Which is interesting to say the least because Prime took the movies and blended them together with animated, which both have absolutely the most hideous art styles in the whole franchise. But I guess they're so opposed to one another that they kind of balance out. The movie designs are chaos personified, where it's hard to tell what you're looking at half the time, whereas animated didn't have that problem, but the extraordinarily exaggerated cartoony proportions and horrendous chins were horrible to look at. So the overall look of Prime is slightly chaotic, but understandably so, even if a lot of the parts are inscrutable, and somehow Arcee's 2-wheeled alt mode leaves her with 3 wheels in robot mode. As well as having exaggerated proportions, but not to the point of every character looking like a parody. So it's better than animated and the movies in terms of aesthetic, but I just feel nothing when looking at these designs. Alright, controversial opinion time over. How does this thing actually compare to its show model? Pretty close. Outside of basically all of the coloring choices not being quite right, this is a very accurate representation of her show model in sculpting. But yeah, those colors are way off. The blue is way too dark, the grays are supposed to be black, so they aren't dark enough, and in what should probably be known as the reverse Dinobot sword, while all of her accent colors are supposed to be chrome pink, they have actually been misinterpreted as bronze here. First Cheetor's gold, now Arcee's pink? Apparently the red line was given a shit ton of bronze paint and just told to make do. Outside of that, basically everything seems correct, but then again, I've already established why I'm probably not the best person to be criticizing this look. The head sculpt is the one place where I can confidently say that for the most part, they nailed it. Of course, there is the aforementioned miscoloring of her pink head crest, but outside of that, the sculpting is dead on, and the expression is very much her. This is likely due to the fact that in the show, her emotional range tended to be serious, sad, serious, serious, cocky, serious, flirty, serious, 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 serious. So the default humorless facial expression does match up with the ones that she made probably 80% of the time in the show. Seriously, if you look up pictures of her face in Google, 9 out of 10 of them will have her be making this expression. The animators really needed to do more with the facial expressions in the show. The vast majority of the time, everyone looked like they were either bored or annoyed. Huh. Is there ever a point in the show where the characters laugh other than Bulkhead? I'm trying to recall any moment where that happened, and I'm pulling up nothing. I do have to say that they did an amazing job with the lipstick on her tiny mouth, even though she never had any in the show. For such a small detail, it's incredibly crisp, though that is balanced out by the terrible paint on her eyes. I swear they used an inkjet printer to paint her eyes on. They are made of a sequence of colored dots. Anyways, she comes with a bunch of accessories. What appears to be a decaying dark energon cube, a pair of wrist-mounted blades with a matching pair of awful, slashing blade effects? It's unclear which direction they go on, and with them being the exact same color as the blades, it just looks like they are a part of them and not either, wind coming off of them or maybe sparks where they hit. Basically, if you want these to be any good, you have to paint them yourselves. She also comes with a pair of punching fists and a pair of trigger hands, which don't make any sense because she doesn't have a gun. They don't even properly fit the gun that comes with Cheetor or the Earthrise Arcee's gun either. So it's not for cross-compatibility. Why not include a more characterful set of hands rather than these that don't make any sense? Lastly, she comes with a badly molded set of handguns that are made out of a soft rubber, allowing them to warp. Also, I don't remember hers being this big. No, not handguns. Handguns. You know, gun hands. Now is finally an opportunity for me to explain why I hate handguns so much. Basically, they ruin tension. If a character can just turn their limb into a weapon at any time, then they can never be disarmed. Therefore, they can always pretty much easily save themselves. They also never need to reload, and there can never be that scene where 2 people are struggling over the same weapon, because they will basically always both be armed. They also pretty much can't arm up or down depending on the situation. You know, they will never go running off to grab a bigger gun for the fight. The only way that characters can ever be stopped from fighting back is either by contriving it, just saying that they don't because it would be inconvenient to the writer for that to happen, or if their adversaries go to the brutal lengths of chopping off their limbs. Which, at that point, you have completely taken away the agency of that character. Without limbs, the character is no longer capable of saving themselves and must be saved by someone incapable of helping out in any way. So yeah, they're stupid and they ruin so many potential scenes, it's kind of incredible that this one change is capable of being so bad in so many ways. Which way is up or down on these things? Her chest plate can come off for some creepy reason, and you discover that her breasts are just a shirt. Weird. Also, there is sculpted detail on the inside of the chest plate, so you are supposed to be able to do this. Why? Alright, on to the longer posability segment than normal, because this is supposed to be the whole point of this figure. Right? Head sucks, there's basically no up or down, really only a swivel. Nothing on that pole of a neck, which comes across very badly. Shoulders do not go up as far as the red Cheetor. No ratchets going out, but there are a very limited number of ratchets going around. I can't tell if this is actually supposed to be a forward butterfly or if the rubbery plastic just deformed enough to act like one. But either way, it actually took a lot of effort and intentional overbending of the plastic to get it to work like this, so I struggle with counting it as a real joint. That's actually kind of a big problem with this figure. All of the joints were fused when I took it out of the box, and I had to break them all loose before they worked. Elbows only go 90, despite the fact that there is no excuse for not going further considering how skinny they are. Once again, the arm has like 3 swivels where it only needed 2, but it's even less useful than it was on the Cheetor. Wrists can tilt in, but they can't really tilt out because of the wrist guard. She has an ab crunch built in, but it doesn't even begin to bend in either direction. It's an included joint that literally can't do anything. Legs can only go forward like 60 degrees and out to the side like 70, but they'll only hold it like a 50. Garbage knees that can't even pull a 90 with a pathetically loose swivel, and horrendous feet where the toe can rotate, but it doesn't really help since they can't lay flat on the ground if you do, and it can tilt down, which might be useful in the correct poses. This thing, whose only job was to pose well, is significantly worse at it than your average Siege figure. Guys, the red line in its current incarnation has no reason to exist. They don't look all that much better than average Transformers figures. They don't pose better than average Transformers figures. They critically fail at what little they set out to accomplish, and they still not only have the balls to charge you like they were anything other than an absolute train wreck, but they charge like this is your average War for Cybertron figure when they don't live up to a single one of them. The most damning thing I can say about these is that Earthrise Arcee does everything these things are setting out to do, but better. Do you hear me? Earthrise Arcee is better than these. She poses better. She looks on par with these. She's made out of nicer materials, which is something that I never thought I'd ever say. And while yes, she does not in fact transform just like these don't, she does still at least come with a chintzy bad version of her alt mode, which still manages to be better than all of the accessories this came with. Do you understand how much it hurts me to say this? Earthrise Arcee sucks ass. These suck worse, and they have not one excuse. There is no reason these should pose as bad as they do while being made out of as crappy a material as they are, while miscoloring everything constantly, and also getting such pathetic accessories. This line better start producing a product worth a damn, or it better die fast, because these are an absolute failure. I'm sorry to all of you who want a rendition of this character, or some others that may never get a good modern figure. Unless you are looking at this and are okay with it just looking like the character, because this is a solid representation of the appearance and that alone, and you don't care about any other aspect of this thing, then I say avoid this like the plague. And now with my sample of 2 red figures, where the first one was bad and the second one was worse when I actually expected it to be better, I can also say that the red line is a money-grubbing insult. Just let it die. Don't buy these. They don't deserve your hard-earned money because they aren't working to earn it themselves. And that's not half of what I have to say, but it's enough of what I have to say. And I know you know what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you'll enjoy listening to me waste your time.